Two things to think about. I was just listening to Tony Robbins. He said people always come through on who they think they really are. Meaning that what you believe you are is what will manifest yourself. If you say that you're just a smoker and then you quit smoking, well, you'll come back to smoking, right? He also said that most of us decided who we are in our youth, years and years and years ago, and I think that's true for most of us. The other thing I read recently is people are going to judge you no matter what you do, so you might as well live a life that's true to you. So I painted this picture. If you want to buy it, let me know. I'm reading the book Start With Why, and he's talking about the limbic brain, which is really the essence of like why people do things, the emotions behind our actions, right? And he's talking about like the power of the limbic brain is astounding. It takes people across oceans, discovering new places and new lands, quitting jobs to start businesses out of their garage, right? Things that seem illogical and crazy, but that's what moves us. That's what motivates us. That's why people who love Mac will not, you couldn't pay them to buy an HP or something. Like, people who have some emotional response to something in the limbic brain are committed and passionate about things. And so you need to start there. If you're selling a product or if you're trying to make a movement, you got to start with why. Move people emotionally in their limbic brain. I'm out getting a run in on a cold, snowy day, which is amazing. I love the cold weather with the snow falling. But I'm reminded of a book I reviewed a while back called Younger Next Year. And this is written by a doctor who essentially talks about the destroyer cells in your body that destroy muscle and bone, and the rebuilders. And in order to trigger the rebuilding process so that you build up stronger, you have to create a certain amount of stress on your body. So if you're not exercising regularly, you're essentially just decaying. We're only really happy with progression. When we're progressing, things seem to be moving in a positive direction. We're generally happy and feel a sense of gratitude. That's why so many of us are attracted to self-help books. We want to read books that are intended to help us and make us feel like, hey, I read the book and therefore I'm better. Which is, partially true, and I do that same thing. I mean, I think that's why I don't read much fiction, and I love self-help, is because of the sort of the feeling of making progress and learning new things that can help me grow. But the real challenge is taking that information and immediately implementing it into your life so that those incremental changes begin to take place right now, and you have an accumulated success rather than looking back and looking at an accumulated disaster. Okay, kids, so I'm reading the book Start With Why, which is fabulous right from the get-go. But he's talking about how people buy why you do it, not what you do. And he brings up a scenario. If you were arguing with someone, which one is better, like between Apple versus Dell or something, right? He says, even with objective metrics in hand, the argument about which is better or which is worse without first establishing a common standard creates nothing more than debate. Loyalists for each brand will point to various features and benefits that matter to them or don't matter to them in an attempt to convince the other that they are right. And that's one of the primary reasons why so many companies feel the need to differentiate in the first place, based on the flawed assumption that only one group can be right. But what if both parties are right? What if Apple was right for some people and a PC was right for others? It's not a debate about better or worse anymore. It's a discussion about different needs. So you need to find out, what's your why, and then find the people who